Hi there, welcome back. In this module, we are going to dive deeper into the deployment topologies of the Model Context Protocol, or MCP as we call it. Think of this as the wiring and plumbing that allows AI models to actually talk to the world. Whether you are running something locally on your laptop or desktop or connecting to a massive cloud database, MCP has a way to make this happen smoothly and securely. We have already covered this briefly in the previous section where we discussed about the core architecture, but now it's time to dive deeper into the details. So without wasting any further time, let's get started. Just as a recap, to understand MCP, you have got to meet the big three. First, we have the host. This is the main app you are using, like a coding IDE or a chat interface. Next is the client. He is the protocol speaker who initiates the request and makes sure everyone is following the rules. Finally, there is the server. This is the tool provider that holds all the cool capabilities the AI wants to use. Actually, this is the one where the processes are actually triggered. Together, they form a perfect team to bridge the gap between the AI and data. Now you must be thinking that I'm repeating it again and again and again. But why am I talking about this again? It's because the bidirectional communication, the related transport mechanism, and the deployment topologies, they all depend on this architectural triad. This is where we really start to see how the pipes of the Model Context Protocol are laid out. We call these the deployment topologies, which is just a fancy way of saying where is the server actually living and how do we talk to it. We generally have two main choices, the local and the remote. So let's break them down like we are choosing between a direct landline and a long distance cell phone call. The first one is the local topology, which is the same machine. On the left side of your slide, we have the local setup. This is when the MCP client and the MCP server are both sitting on the same computer right there on your laptop or the desktop. For the connection, it uses something called STDIO, which is the standard input or the standard output. Think of this as the direct physical cable connecting the two processes. The client actually launches the server as a sub-process, like a little helper app that starts up whenever you need it. Why it's great? Because the data doesn't have to travel across the internet, and the speed is instant, which is low latency, plus it's incredibly secure because your data never leaves your machine. This is the go-to method for the local development and for building powerful desktop AI tools. Now, let's talk about the remote topology. Look at the right side. This is the remote setup. This is for when the server lives somewhere else entirely and is unlike the local setup, like in a high-powered data center or a cloud service. Talking about the connection, since there is a distance between them, we use the web's standard language, which is the HTTP and SSE. And we've already discussed about the SSE. It's an abbreviation for the server sent events. We call this the streamable HTTP. Sending a message is like a quick post request, and the server replies with an SSE stream that stays open so it can send info back whenever it's ready. So why it's great? This is built for a scale. It allows one server to handle many different clients at one time, which is multi-tenant. It's perfect for connecting to massive enterprise database or remote AI agents. Since the internet can sometimes be spotty, this setup includes clever features like resumability. That is, picking up exactly where you left off if the connection drops, and session management to keep things organized. We just discussed that if you are building a desktop AI app or doing a local development, local transport is your best friend. It uses the standard input and output streams. We call this the STDIO, and it has the ultra low latency because there is no network involved. the communication is basically instant and incredibly secure. Since it's so good, let's get under the hood of STDIO. In this setup, we again have the client process and the server process. Here, the client launches the server as a sub-process and they talk through three pipes. The first pipe is the STDIN, where the messages goes to the server. The second pipe is the STDIO. Here, the messages comes out of the server and goes to the client. And finally, we also have the STDERR, which is the standard error. This is a dedicated channel just for logs. The golden rule is that you can only send valid MCP messages through the STDIN and STDOut. Anything else, like a debug message, must go through a standard error so that it doesn't confuse the protocol. And the JSON RPC messages are UTF-8 encoded and new line delimited and does not contain embedded new lines. Now on to the remote transport architecture. When you need to go big, you go remote. It's for connecting to cloud services or multi-tenant databases, meaning this is a distributed architecture used for cloud services and remote AI agents. Instead of local pipes, we use the HTTP or the server send events SSE to traverse the network. It's built to be a scalable deployment that can handle many connections at once. Bottom line is that in a remote topology, the MCP server is no longer a sub-process of the host application. Instead, it lives as an independent process within your cloud environment. However, because it's going over the internet, it requires robust connection management. You have got to handle things like network drops and security across distances, which is why we use some clever tricks to keep it reliable. In summary, remote architecture is the blueprint for AI scalability, providing the Rosetta Stone for connecting your organization's AI agents to its most critical cloud resources. Alright, let's take a closer look at the streamable HTTP. This is exactly how we take the Model Context Protocol out of your local machine and into the big wide world of the internet. First, look at the middle of the diagram where it says the MCP endpoint. Think of this as a single front door or meeting point that the server provides. So instead of having a bunch of confusing different addresses, the server provides one single endpoint path that is smart enough to support both post and get requests. When the client has a job for the server, like asking it to run a tool, it sends a message via HTTP post. This request carries the JSON RPC instructions directly to that MCP endpoint. You will notice a little box at the bottom that says 202 accepted. This is the server's way of saying message received. I'm starting the work now, which lets the client move on to the other things while the server processes the request. Now, how does the server talk back? This is the clever part. The server initiates a server send events stream, which is the SSE stream. Instead of a normal web page that loads and finishes, this creates a continuous text event stream connection. Why is this a game changer? The real magic of using an SSE stream is that it allows for asynchronous push notifications. This means that the server doesn't have to finish everything instantly. It can push updates, new requests, or those final responses back to the client the very second they are ready. It makes the whole AI interaction feel snappy and responsive, even when the server is doing heavy lifting in the background. Let's also talk about the reliability of the remote connectivity. What happens if your Wi-Fi blips? No stress. MCP has resumability. Every event gets a last event ID. If you disconnect, the client just says, "Hey, I last read event number 10," and the server replays the lost messages. We also use the stateful sessions with a secure MCP session ID header to make sure the server remembers exactly who you are during the whole conversation. That's how we get the remote reliability with resumability and session management. Now it's the time for the ultimate showdown, comparison between the local versus the remote topology. While both paths use the same exact model context protocol brain, the way they are wired changes the game of your AI application. Think of this synthesis as your architectural compass, helping you decide whether you need the raw speed of the local machine or the massive reach of the cloud. So here is the breakdown of our two contenders under different dimensions. So they are the setup, the edge, the security, and the trade-off. So first one is the local topology, the speedster. If you need the blazing fast performance and absolute privacy, local is your best friend. For the setup, the client and the server live on the same machine, talking through a direct pipe called STDIO. You get zero network overhead because there is no internet lag to worry about. It's virtually instantaneous. For the security, it offers ironclad security because your data never leaves the device, making it the gold standard for IDE enhancements like cursor or processing highly sensitive on-device files. The trade-off is it is inherently single session, meaning it isn't built to handle thousands of users at once. It's a dedicated one-to-one relationship between your app and the server. Now let's talk about the remote topology, which is the high flyer. When you are ready to go big and serve an entire organization, you go remote. For the setup, your MCP lives independently in the cloud, communicating via streamable HTTP, which is a mix of HTTP post and the server sent events, which is the SSE. This is a multi-tenant architecture, allowing one centralized server to provide tools and context to a whole fleet of different AI agents simultaneously. It's built for enterprise scale and connecting to shared cloud databases. Talking about the security, performance depends on your internet reliability, and you will need to manage the security features like preventing DNS rebinding. Same is the case for the session management. As a developer, you will need to manage the stateful sessions. Let's also talk about the transport agnosticism. The coolest part of the comparison? MCP is completely transport agnostic because the protocol separates the data layer, which is what the messages mean, from the transport layer, which is how it's delivered. You can write your local tool logic just once. You can start building locally today and move to remote cloud deployment tomorrow without rewriting a single line of your core capability logic. Bottom line is, choose local if you are building desktop productivity tool or need the ultimate privacy of on-device processing. And choose remote if you are deploying a company-wide AI copilot or managing complex multi-user workflows. So, which flavor of the MCP are you going to build first?